I say ignite, you say fire. Ignite! Fire! Ignite! Fire! Ignite! Fire! Good day, madam.
Good day, Sam.
My day would not be complete without that.
I know.
So I told Miranda that I wanted to start off with a joke, and she was like, no, dude, we do not have enough time. It's because Brad kept chopping down our time. I think it's because he was a little nervous about what would come out of my mouth. Little does he know, I'm more nervous about what will come out of my mouth. All right, so we'll do a quick joke. Ready? Knock, knock. Who's there? That was for me and Miranda, actually. I told her that we could get this crowd to do and say whatever we want. Miranda put a post up on social, and she goes, she was like, this is the very first time that we're actually going to present as Don't Suck at Sales. And somebody told her to break a leg.
So, it wasn't a broken leg, it was a broken foot, and it only broke because I kicked John's butt at getting people to ignite.
That's debatable. It's debatable, but no, we're here today because we do not have the personalities to be accountants, right?
That's right, yep.
But so grateful to be here. My name is John Ziller, and I am with my PIC, which she didn't know what PIC meant, partner in crime. Mm-hmm. My podcastie, one of my besties, Miranda Martin.
Yay! I am so fired up to be here, and it's funny because I know John and I, we came to our first conference like 8 years ago. I wasn't even sure I wanted to do this. I know you were in the same boat. Yeah. And what's crazy is that I had a 3- and a 5-year-old. I was a single mom, and I had like $13,000 a month of bills staring me in the face, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I wasn't really all in though yet, okay? And I made the decision, like some of you will today and this weekend, to go all in. And then what's crazy on the other side of what happened on the other side of that business model, I don't even have my clicker. I don't think anyone has a clicker.
Can we get a clicker?
But we actually ended up writing over $1 million of business off of our own pen. And what's so crazy is our team has since done $66 million of business. Yes. It's wild.
Hey, to note, though, I beat her with, I kicked your butt with that $1 million right there.
You did a little more than me, but not by a lot, but he did beat me. But it's funny because I went from sucking at sales. I was horrible, guys. Like, I didn't write a single policy for like 5 or 6 weeks. And then we now have a podcast called Don't Suck at Sales. I've written a book on how to train salespeople. So it's like, I imagine that you guys are going to have some crazy stories coming out of this conference with how you're going to use this business model. But when you look at the whole entire sales system, sometimes it feels like it's a lot. But really, it's not. Because there's really only 6 things. Like, if you master the 6 things that we're going to talk about, we guarantee that you're not going to suck at sales, don't we, John?
Guaranteed, y'all.
So we're gonna give you 4 things today in the appointment process, and then we're gonna give you 2 in the client presentation. So how many of you guys hate it when the clients say at the start of the call, like, I'm not interested? Or like have thought these leads suck or whatever? Has that ever happened to anyone?
100%, Miranda. Like, literally, you were able to book like 15 appointments in 3 hours, and it took me 3 days to get with you. The leads sucked in my area, for sure.
So here's what happens, John. If the client is not interested, it means that you're not interesting.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Mean. Okay, here's the thing, and we've talked about this a lot, but how many seconds does it take for a client to figure out if they want to talk to you on the phone? Anyone know? 3. Okay. So you've got to be prepared, right? You've got to smile at the start of the call. If you're not smiling, they're probably going to say they're not interested. But here's something that I don't think we've talked about yet. Is it actually is more than just you sounding good, okay? Did you know that it is scientifically proven to put you in a better mood if you smile? Yes. Even if it's for only 10 seconds, it's going to trick your brain into like something funny is happening. And it's going to like release neuropeptides, right? That it's going to release dopamine, serotonin, endorphins. So it's actually really scientifically going to put you in a better mood.
Miranda, if you see me walking around like this the next 2 days, it's because I'm working on my peptides and my, what do you call it? Neuropeptides.
They're neuropeptides. Okay, so everyone
And
smile
endorphins.
like John, like dorky smile, okay? Don't
we go.
stop, and I want you to try to think of something negative. Don't stop smiling. You start, keep your smile going. Okay, it is physically impossible to think bad things when you're smiling. So there you go.
Madam. All right,
Madam.
so we got the smiling down, right? And I think it really is important, but like, let's get kind of through the first paragraph.
Okay.
Like, let's actually practice it. Let's do a little role play.
Okay, so car lot. Tell me about the car lot.
Okay, so yes, actually, and you know what? All right, so really quick. This is what a lot of people don't understand is that the first objection is not the real objection. All right, let me give you an example. You go to a car lot, you get out, you walk around the car, and you got the salesperson, hey, can I help you? Right? And you're always like, no, I'm okay, I'm just, right? And so that's your defense mechanism going up, right? It's like, no, I just don't want to be sold anything. So let's,
So it's the same thing, right? Like, let's say your kid or your spouse like is nagging about something, okay? Do you ever respond the first time that comes out? Or do you wait a little bit until you hear it 2 or 3 times, and now you have to address it? Does that ever happen, John?
Yeah, Jessica, where's she at?
So it's on the phone,
I
especially.
don't listen for shit.
Especially in the first paragraph, but it's the same thing in the client presentation. The first time you hear something, you don't have to address it. Who here has never made a dial yet? Okay,
There's
nice.
quite a
Okay,
few.
so you only have to use 2 things in the first paragraph. This is it, okay? It's called a deflection. That's exactly why I'm calling, or that's a great question. I'll get to that in a minute. Who's been here a long, long time? Even you don't have to use an objection in the first paragraph. Only in the first paragraph, use this. Go exactly back to script. Do not pause. Go back to script. You don't even think about what they're saying. Just go back to script. Because once we get through that first paragraph, they're qualifying us. Later, we are qualifying them.
Yeah.
Want to try?
Let's do it.
Okay. Hi, John.
Yeah.
Hi, John. My name's Miranda, and I'm licensed by the state of Florida to follow up on the request you made for mortgage protection.
Yeah, I'm not
on the
interested.
That's exactly why I'm calling. It's on the home you own at 12345 Street. What mortgage protection does is if you get
Yeah, I've already
severely
priced
sick,
it. It's way too
disabled, or
expensive.
if you were to pass away, it'll make sure your family doesn't lose their home.
I've priced it. It's way too expensive.
Okay, I'm going to pause there. So what happens was it doesn't make any sense, right? But what happens is I have to get through the first paragraph or he doesn't even know what he's saying no to. Make sense? Yes. All right. So what's going to happen, John? So what are your thoughts on that?
So we're going to reference kind of like the run-on sentence method.
I know. Because what ends up happening is I did something that I learned in English class, okay? Did anyone go to English class when they were younger? Okay. Did anyone get told to pause where there's a period?
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. If you do that in the first paragraph and you pause where there's a period, it's going to give the client a chance to hang up on you or tell you that they're not interested when they don't even know what you're calling about. Okay? So we're going to teach you pro tip number 3. This is going to change your life, okay? You're going to be guaranteed to get through the first paragraph, assuming you smile, okay? All right, and it's called the run-on sentence method, okay? How it works is we are going to go ahead and make smart pausing in the middle of a sentence, or we're going to pause at least one word in on the next sentence. And we're going to make little notes there. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove all the commas and periods out of the first paragraph. Just delete them, okay? And it's really, really cool, and it's going to look really weird. So take pictures if you want. All right.
And so really quick, too, with this, though, you guys are going to notice something where she has kind of the highlighted mark. It's at cliffhangers right in the middle of a sentence. So it's intentional breathing, really quick. So my name is John Ziller. I'm licensed by the state of Illinois to follow up on the request you made. All right, so it's intentional breathing. So again, eliminating the periods, the death pauses. If you do a death pause, that's where your appointment goes to die, basically, okay? So let's run through it this time.
All right, okay, so here we go. So it doesn't matter what script you're using, okay? It's not about the script, it's the techniques that work on any introduction paragraph. So we've got the pausing. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go through, and I've highlighted all of the periods and commas. Those are about to go away. And then I put some asterisks where John was talking about the death pausing. This is where most people pause, and they're called eyes. So I put them there so that you know, do not pause there, okay? Are we ready? Are you guys all with me?
We're here.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So let's try it again. This is it. I've got my pausing, and then I've got my asterisk, so I know not to pause there, okay?
Yes.
All right. Hey, John?
Yeah, this is.
Hey, John. Hey, John.
You get those bean bags like that, too. They're just permanently in a bad mood. All right.
Okay. This is Miranda Martin, and I am licensed by the state of Florida to follow up on the request you made for mortgage protection on the
I'm
home
not
you own
interested.
at 12345 Street. What mortgage protection does is if you get severely sick, disabled, or if you were to pass away, it's going to make sure your family doesn't lose the home. Now,
Who farted?
our records, and I'll pause. What's crazy is, like, for me, and I'm working with so many brand new people, when they're focused on where they're pausing, they sound confident. They're not going up at the end of a sentence. New people do that. They'll go, I'm calling about the mortgage protection on the home you own at 12345 Street. and if you take the periods out, okay, and you pause where we're talking, you don't do that. Because you're pausing in the middle of a sentence. This is magical, and it looks really weird. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes. So,
It does.
all right, so you got us smiling weird, right? We're all smiling. Everyone do a quick smile. That was terrible. Yeah, feel those peptides or neuropeptides or what I was just talking about. All right, and then we got through the first paragraph, but here's the reality. If you can actually get through the very first paragraph, you're going to set an appointment. Okay, but getting them to show up is a whole nother thing. Everyone agree? Yes. Do we want help from Miranda with this? Yes or no?
Okay, again, so there's one thing that might or might not be in your script, but it's 100% proven that if you do this line perfect, your show rate will go up by 50%. If you're wondering why it's less than that, it's because you're not using this line perfect. Does anyone want to know what it is? Yes. Okay. All right, so it's very easy. It's that right after you pick the date and time, you say, this is my last spot. Are you positive that this will work for you and your spouse together? Okay, I've heard so many new people or people, longtime people say, hey, John, I'm going to put you down. That you're positive that works for you, right? I've heard that. I've heard, okay, are you sure that's going to work for you? Sure is not the same thing as positive. This is my last spot. Are you positive this will work for you and your spouse together?
And
Okay.
let me jump in on the honorable mentions too. Like, here's the thing with like setting an appointment, make sure that we set it like for today. We live in such a microwave society that like as soon as you set it up for tomorrow, it immediately decreases your show factor. So again, today, if you can, highly, highly probable that they show up. And then another thing too, like she was just talking about, be careful of the weak language. You're talking about, are you positive that this will work for you? And then, oh yeah, that should work. Oh yeah, we'll try to make it. If your boss told you that, oh yeah, we should be able to pay you tomorrow, would you feel confident with that, yes or no? No. Oh, we're going to try to pay you tomorrow. You'd be like, screw you, right? So just be careful of that very weak language, Mara.
Yeah, and sometimes people say, well, it's not my last spot. Then they feel uncomfortable saying that. But here's the thing. If you're booking this person for 6 o'clock, how many other appointments can you have for 6 o'clock?
No, it's your last one.
It's your last spot for 6, right? So the thing is, it'll wake the client up and they'll take it seriously. But again, check your script. If this isn't in here, boom, put it in. It's going to change your show rate.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do a pro tip 4.5, I think.
Contradicting yourself a little bit.
Let's do this. Okay. Okay, so I am going to contradict myself in a moment because historically we have dealt with mortgage protection leads where they get a mail, like something in the mail, they fill it out, they walk it to a mailbox, or they get something, they call a number, and that requires a little bit more effort than being on like TikTok or Google and like clicking something and filling it out for 2 seconds. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. How long are these TikTok? I'm not really on
I
TikTok.
love TikTok so much. Do I have any fellow TikTokers? Yes. 10 seconds to 3 minutes.
Okay.
Quick.
So would it be fair to say that if these people, they contact us digitally through TikTok, that maybe they need to be serviced quicker? Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So when we're dealing with a digital lead, the number one complaint I hear is my show rate's low. Okay? Here's why. Are you booking it within 30 minutes or an hour? How do you do that? Well, you offer it, okay? All right, and this is how you do it. All right, this is what you're doing. You're going to wrap up your script, and at the very end, you're going to say, will you be free in 30 minutes for a quick 7-minute call to close your case? Okay? That's all you need to say. And then here's the difference. Mortgage protection, you're going to go into this date and time progression, and it's going to be very traditional. Don't do that with the digitals. You book it in 30 minutes. So if I said, hey, John, will you be free in 30 minutes for a quick 7-minute call to close your case? He says,
yes.
Okay. And I say, cool. And I put it in as an appointment. I send my digital business card, and I call him back. I don't need to go, okay, do you want to do it at 4:30 or 5? 5 or 5:30? 5:30 or 6:30?
Like an auctioneer.
It's weird.
It's
do
so
not
available.
do it. You're good. Put it in 30 minutes. Call them. We all with me?
Yes.
All right. However, if you end up booking the digital for later on, like tomorrow or beyond, you do need to do the full court press. Are you positive this will work?
Yes. Yes.
This is my last spot. Are you positive it'll work for you and your spouse together? Say, you guys follow me? Yes. Okay. All right. So I think that was 4.5 points on the phone. Okay. You guys got that? 4.5 points. We're done? Okay. All
Who's
right.
ready for some sales stuff, y'all? Ignite! You guys suck.
Do it again. Do it again.
Ignite!
All right. So here it goes. Okay, so we got them through the beginning. We smiled. We got them for the introduction, right? We took out the periods and commas. We booked it with the right tie down. We booked it today by offering today. But now we're going to get into the sales presentation. And I remember sucking at sales, guys. Like, I've been so bad at this business, every area of it, and then I figured it out. There's always a way to win. You just have to find it. Okay? And what ended up happening, John, is I had like all these people. I had 60 leads. I had them printed off in my folders and everything like that. And they all wanted to like do the application later. You know, they all wanted to do it, but they were going to call me back to do the application. They wanted to talk to their next door neighbor. They wanted to talk to their kid, their grandma, whatever.
Pray to baby Jesus.
They wanted to do that. Does that ever happen to anyone where they had like a stack of callbacks and like you're just so excited to help them? You're not probably going to help them. That's the thing. Here's why that happens. The first thing, and this one's really easy actually, is the beginning of the call was not done, or the sales presentation was not done right.
Yeah.
When I started doing what John's about to talk about, I went from helping 0 people to like 9 out of 10 of them with an application. It's that big of a deal.
She legit went like 0 for 60.
I think I probably did, yes. I've done that.
All right, so we've actually interviewed some really, really good salespeople, and we've kind of like extracted what are some of their best practices, meaning we'll ask a question in reference to, hey, if you didn't do this, like, or what is one thing that you could actually focus on that will really impact your sales? And there's 2 areas. Number 1 is the role and purpose and the way that they set it up. And then the other thing is really digging into the client's why, understanding, kind of like making sure that they understand how their life would play out. So we're actually going to cover both of those. And what I want you guys to pay attention to, we're going to do a test, y'all. You ready for a test? Yes. All right, okay. All right, get your pen and paper out. My guy doesn't have a pen and paper here, but that's okay. I'm not going to call him out. And I want you to focus on, how many times am I saying we're going to take an application today? People miss this part of it, and it's so important, letting them know you need to lead them. We're also going to like keep them in qualifying mode. We're going to say things like, we're not sure if you'll even qualify. So pay attention to that. And I want you to take notes and write down how many times I say this throughout this process. Interaction, I'm keeping them engaged the entire time. I'm not just talking at them for 3 or 4 minutes straight. I'm making sure that they're paying attention and with me. We're talking about simple and fast. We're talking about the process being easy, quick. How many times do I say that? And then diversity of products. People need to know that we do more than just life insurance, okay? So write down how many I bring up. Ready to do a quick kind of role play?
Does everyone have these 5 things written down? Because we're going to test you.
We are going to test y'all, okay? All right, so let's do it. All right, this is role and purpose. So, and I'm just going to read straight from this. So, Miranda, I'm licensed by the state of Illinois. My role in this is what they call a field underwriter, and I'm a broker. And as a broker, I have access to over 60 of the top-rated companies that offer this coverage. And so I shop around for you. I don't only specialize in life insurance, I also do mortgage protection, final expense, retirement, getting people out of debt, children's grow-up plans, accidental death, critical illness, cancer policies, and much more. My job is just to find you the best coverage that you qualify for at the best price. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, so here are 4 things that we are going to do on this phone call today to close your case. The first thing is I'm going to verify your health information. Some carriers are super picky while others are not. The one that gives us the best rates tend to be the pickiest. So I need to know the details because when they do their underwriting, they're going to use your social to see any prescriptions that you filled, medical history, driving records, lifestyle, and even your criminal background to determine your eligibility. So the more information that I have, the better the price I can get you. I want you to look at me as like your attorney and not necessarily the judge. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. The second thing is pretty basic. It's just to discuss what you may have in place for life insurance, what you feel like you may need, and just to see if there's a gap. My number one job today is just to help you determine what you need to protect your family. Also to ensure it's in your budget, and most importantly, just make sure that you qualify for that insurance. That make sense, Mer?
Yes.
Okay. Third thing, I'm going to show you just a few options. Your job is easy. It will be to pick a plan that fits your need and your budget. And then the fourth thing is once you find the right fit, we're going to apply today and see if you can even get approved, which usually takes about 5 minutes or so. It's super easy, and we're just going to do it right here over the phone.
Okay.
Okay? So when we put in an application today, one of 4 things can happen. Number 1, they can say issued as applied for, which is my goal, and that happens about 95% of the time. They can also say Miranda's in a little bit better shape than we thought. The price is actually going to be less. It's great when that happens. Probably not going to happen to you. They can also say, wait a minute, there are just a few more things in Miranda's prescription history or medical history and maybe criminal background, and the price is actually going to be a little bit more. Or they can just come back and say, we don't want you. They can decline you, which we want to avoid. And if they do decline you, I have 60 carriers, so we're just going to move on to Plan B. As I said, some carriers give an immediate decision, but for the most part, it takes about 3 to 5 days, sometimes more, to see if you can even get approved. Again, today, we're going to put in an application for a plan that you like, that's affordable, and one that I think we have a really good shot at. And I'm going to work as hard as I can to get you issued as applied for. Does that sound good?
It does.
Y'all? Yeah. I love it. All right, so Miranda, let's ask the group how many.
We'll see how good they were. It was a lot there. There's a lot there, but we covered so many bases, and it's so important. So let me see, show of hands, like show of fingers, I guess. You only have, yeah. How many times did John use the word application today, or something along those lines?
Ooh,
good. Okay.
I've seen a lot of 4s and 5s.
Okay, it was at least 4, maybe argumentably 5. So good job. All right. Qualifying mode. How many times did he say things like, I'm not sure you'll be approved, that sort of thing? How many times did that come up?
7.
Okay.
7.
He went really fast, but there was like at least 5. Plus there was the 4 steps at the end, like when they apply, these 4 things could happen. How many of you guys have done an application with somebody before, and then there was like a counter offer, or you got them declined? Okay? A lot of times this isn't in the role and purpose is that I have seen. If they know right away what the process is, do you think they're going to be a little bit more open-minded to like answer the phone and do another plan with you? Okay, good. So I'm going to say 9 there, but I guess it could be up for discussion, argument, right?
Debatable.
Okay, and then was it simple, fast? How many times did he say things like super easy, basic? This only takes 5 minutes. Like, how many times did that come up?
You guys are not talking to us. Okay,
we went really fast, so it's okay. I think at least 4, okay? And then what did he say? Well, he said, like, I'm a broker. He mentioned 60 carriers, 8 different products. Like, there is so much covered in this role and purpose, and when it's missed, and then we wonder why people don't want to do an application at the end. Because we never told them. That was my problem. I didn't tell them. And then they just thought they were getting a price, right? Simple. So our pro tip number 5 is read this out, all of it, the whole thing. Can we all read? Yes. Oh, cool.
Can you read?
So we can do it. Okay, cool. But here's the part as well. Just make a note, because it's not just some agents I see reading it perfectly verbatim. They're forgetting to do the interaction. Right? Especially when you're doing a mortgage protection, the script on HQ, like you do a big long thing about mortgage protection, then the role and purpose. And what ends up happening is if you just talk at them, what you say and what they hear is not the same thing.
That's right. Okay?
So make sure that they're listening. If there's 2 people on the phone or on Zoom, all right, John, does that make sense? Yes, Jessica, you got it too? Yeah. Get confirmation from both that they're listening, because you need to take control at the very start, right? If you don't take control at the start, you're not going to have it at the end through the client presentation. It has to happen right away at the beginning.
Yeah.
All right. Woo! Thank you. So now this part. I hate it when people say they can't decide tonight. I hate it. Does anyone else hate that? It's just, Okay, so there's really 2 things. After the role and purpose is done, and assuming this is done right, because we can all read, so I think we're good there, right? There's 2 reasons why they're going to say that they can't decide tonight. The why isn't big enough, or the price is too high. Okay, we're not going to go into the second one, but we will do a podcast on it next week. Does that sound okay with everyone? All right, so let's talk about the why, because in my training on sales, I have a quote that I love, and I'll share it with you guys, if that's okay. And it is that when there is no pain, it's just another bill. And it's the best quote that there is.
No, it's not. Definitely not. So she wouldn't give me everything that I wanted on this particular slide. Because I said people buy because of like, trust, and understand, which is so true, and we'll talk about this in just a second. But in the absence of value, price doesn't matter.
And what he's trying to say, that when there's no pain, really, it's just another bill. So it's just a better way to say it.
All right, anyway, so let's dive into building value so price won't actually matter.
And get pain as well.
And so again, people buy because of like, trust, and understand. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of like make sure, like, what I want you guys to do is make sure that you walk the client through their pain, I guess. Okay, fair enough. Walk the client through exactly what's going to happen, how their life is going to play out if, God forbid, one or the other didn't make it home. And so I'm going to do kind of like a little role play with Miranda here, and we're going to talk about, yeah, there we go, perfect. All right, so we're going to talk about, I'm going to dig into as many who, what, when, where, why, and how as we possibly can. And I would highly recommend that you guys a lot of you are screenshotting that. And so I'm going to do kind of like a quick role play with Miranda just so you guys can kind of see how this is going to play out, all right? I started off every single time, and I'm going to do the same. Pay more attention to me, not so much Miranda, as I'm kind of going through this. And that wasn't a joke. Pay attention to me, y'all. But pay more attention to me, and you'll understand kind of like how I progress through this. And I'm going to use a lot of what she's saying into my next question. All right?
Yeah.
So just in lieu of time, we're gonna go right. We'll go really quick. All right. So Miranda, we have her spouse, we have Kale, we have Kaysen, we have her 2 kids, and we're just going to dive right in. So Miranda, if God forbid you didn't make it home yesterday, how would the situation play out for your family as it stands today?
Wow, it would be hard, but I do think they'd be okay. Like, have some money saved up and stuff. So
when you say you'd be okay, how long would you be okay for?
Like a good 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And after that 6-month period of time, what would happen?
Well, this home really kind of takes two incomes, so we'd probably have to get another place.
Okay. Where would you move to?
Either like a townhouse, apartment, like maybe somewhere like that was more economical, like in driving distance, hopefully. I don't know.
Okay. And how would that impact the children?
I don't know. It'd be hard.
Okay. Now, Miranda, I can tell that you're getting a little uncomfortable, which is okay. Trust me, I'm just as uncomfortable asking these questions, but this is kind of a real life matter. We do have to walk through it, so I promise you it'll be quick, but
Okay.
can we get through it? Would that be
Sure,
okay? All
yeah.
right. So, and see, like that will actually happen. People get super uncomfortable with this stuff, and just tell them, hey, I'm uncomfortable too. I don't want to talk about this, but somebody has to do it. And so just be vulnerable, be open, just like we were there. All right, so how would it impact the children?
Well, they're in a private school, so that's like half the mortgage payment right there, so that would go away. I like eating organic, like it's very important, so that would go away. Probably cut down grocery bills.
Organic, bougie-ass kids. Okay, how about work-life balance? How would that kind of play into effect? I keep throwing Miranda curveballs over here.
So, yeah, no, like it would be tough because even getting to school, like we'd have to have a place by the school. It'd be hard to like get them around and
Getting them to and from school.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And then how about work? Like just, would we have to pick up extra job? Does that less
definitely.
interactive
I would
with
think
the
so,
kids?
yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'll pause and I could keep going. And then just recap everything we talked about. And so, Miranda, just let me make sure that I understand how this would play out for you. That if, God forbid, something were to happen to you, it sounds like within 180 days, your family would literally have to leave your funeral, prep the home for sale, pack it up. Your kids, not only are they losing their mother, now they're going to lose their home. Right? Their safety net. But in addition to that, they're going to lose their friends because they're no longer at the same school. So it's like the people that they need to rely on the most, they're no longer going to have that circle of influence. In addition to that, right? And so, do I understand you correctly? Is that kind of how it would play out? All right. Do you agree wholeheartedly, undeniably, that we want to avoid that? Want to make sure that this home that they're in right now will be their home as long as they so choose?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to make sure that we take care of that today, okay?
Woo. Awesome.
Very simple.
Yes. No, and what happens is it should get to the point where it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? If you are not getting past that surface level, they are going to say that you need to think about it, right? We've always said that you want to go 7 layers deep. So when I said something, did you see how John just kept asking me more questions about it? He could have went on probably for 10 minutes
Easily.
here, right? And so you guys
Brad
have...
chopped down our time, so we don't have much left. So blame Brad.
Oh, it's okay. But here's the thing. So you go through here. We ask who, what, when, where, how. Go through that whole dynamic. Normally, John is always, he's even pretending up here to take notes. You have to write down what they say. It's really important because when they say it, it's real. When you say something, you're being a salesperson, right? So what he did is he will write down what they say, and then once everything's done, you repeat back everything that they said in their words, right? And maybe paint some pictures alongside that, because this is the first time they're hearing what they said back, right? From another voice. And then asking them, do you agree with that? Are they ever going to say no? They just said it. You're just repeating their own stuff and then saying, hey, do you agree with that? And guys, there should be no one ever showing options unless you've done this and they have agreed that, yes, there's a problem. Yes, I'd like to fix it. Make sense? All right. So, pro tip number 6. Use the who, what, when, where, how. Again, take that graphic, hang it up when you're on your presentations. Because again, guys, when there's no pain, it's just another bill.
She won't let it go. She just won't. All right, so again, just a quick recap. We're smiling awkwardly, right? Let's do the smile again. Some of you have bad smiles. We're going to deflect, right? Just quick kind of like push off. Again, run on sentence method. Make sure that you're writing all this down too. The tie down is super important, right? Getting people to set appointments is good, but we got to make sure that they show up. Role and purpose, just use that verbatim. I promise you that'll help you like 50% closing rate if you just use that verbatim.
Yep.
And then really kind of digging deep into their why and making sure that you understand how their life is going to play out more.
So, number 7, our podcast comes out usually on Tuesdays, so expect that on Tuesday. We're all over the place. We really prefer YouTube, but go wherever you want to listen to it, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever. But just remember this, guys, like every master was once a disaster, okay? You now have a choice not to be a disaster, okay? You have a choice to master this stuff, right? You no longer need to suck at sales. There's no excuse for it, right? So if you are tired of being a chicken, right, come up and fly with those eagles because you got 1,440 minutes in a day. What you gonna do about this?
Yes!
I say let's roll with